Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be upcycling a pair of jeans into a denim balaclava. And with this design, you can wear it multiple ways. It has a nice Sherpa lining, and it's also super easy to make. So if you're new to sewing, you should have no problem finding the easy step-by-step tutorial. With all that being said, let's get started. Getting started with supplies, you'll need one pair of pants, and you can use any style of pants for this project. I'll be using a wide leg pair of jeans that has a little bit of stretch. The wide leg will give me a little bit more fabric to work with, and also the stretch will help with the neck panel. Going along with the pants, you'll also need sweatshirt fleece, or Sherpa. Now this is optional. I'm going to be using it for the lining to make it extra warm, but if you don't want to add a lining, you don't need the extra fabric. And if you're wondering, this is a Sherpa. It's on the thicker side, but it worked very well. It also looks really nice with the denim. But like always, feel free to switch it up and use whatever fabric that's going to bring your design together. And moving on to the project, the first thing we're going to do is measure down about 3 to 4 inches on the inseam from the center seam and cut off the pant legs. We will be utilizing the fabric from the leg panels for the neck and face guard in future steps, but for the moment we can place them off to the side. And moving back to the top section, locate the inseam and dethread the remaining portion of the seam. We're going to be resewing the seam, so you don't want to cut it with scissors. Now we can move to the center seam and dethread to the bottom of the fly. And the goal is to dethread high enough so that you can overlap the two sides so the front panel sits flat. Again, you don't want to use scissors to cut the seam because we're going to be sewing directly on the seam in future steps. Now we can flip it around to the back side and do the same thing, dethread up the seam to the center of the back pockets. The back seam has more of a curve, so we're trying to dethread high enough to remove that curve so when we overlap the two sides, the back panel sits flat. Depending on the style of your pants, if you dethread too high when you overlap the panel, it might go over the pocket. So you may want to dethread a little bit, test it out, and keep going from there. As you can see, my pants has a little raw edge at the bottom, so what I'm going to do is fold that under and pin it down. Now that the back panel is sitting flat, what we're going to do is stitch directly in the old stitch paths on the factory stitch. Flip it back around to the front side, and we're going to do the same thing. Overlap the two sides, make sure it's sitting flat, place a few pins, and we're going to stitch directly in the path of the factory stitch. This pair of pants had a double stitch seam, so I'm going to add a stitch in each one of those paths. I also recommend matching the thread color to what's on your pants so it blends better. Next, we're going to move to the inside and trim any of the excess fabric. And I trimmed mine about 1/4 inch away from the seam. And don't worry, we're going to be adding a lining so the rest will be covered. Next, we're going to fold the pants in half at the center points. And this is the main reason we restitched the center seam, so when we lay it on the side, it sits nice and flat. Spin the pants around so the waistband is on the left side. This will give you a better idea of what the hood is going to look like and how big it's going to be, because we're going to be using that waistband assembly for the front opening of our hood. For this next step, we're going to be cutting the shape of the hood, and I do recommend using a hood that you have sitting around. It's a lot easier to cut the shape, and you also get an idea of how big the hood is going to be. So now you want to figure out how wide to cut the hood. The wider you make it, the larger it's going to be. I'm going to be cutting mine a little bit bigger because you can always take it in. We're also going to be starting the cut down the center seam, so that way we can keep the full waistband in the hood. I also want to make it wide enough so I can keep the back pockets within the design. You do have an option when it comes to the top of the hood. You can have the fly at the top or at the bottom. I'm actually going to be going with it at the bottom. I find it's a little bit easier to make that way, and you get more of the pants look within the finished design. Plus, you can also utilize the belt loops in future steps to add webbing or a belt. But anyways, once you figured out the width and the shape, we're going to cut the hood panel out and taper it at the top. Now we need to remove the bottom section, but I do want to keep the button, so what I'm going to do is cut up the waistband about 2 to 3 inches and then across. And you're trying to cut as close to the waistband as possible. If you're unsure how far to cut up, just cut up past the zipper so you remove the entire zipper. I'll be using the button as a design feature. If you don't want that in the end product, then you can just cut the entire button off. You also don't want to cut too high because we're going to be sewing the front panels together in future steps, so you need a little bit of space to work with. So for the best results, I recommend cutting to the top of the zipper and across. With the bottom off, we're going to flip the right sides together and line up the outside edge. Place a few pins so the layers don't shift around, take it to your sewing machine and sew just the back edge at 1/4 inch seam allowance. I did use a serger, but you don't need to use one for this step. If you don't have a serger, you can use a regular sewing machine. At this point, I do recommend trying it on and seeing how it fits. If it's too big, you can always keep going in a little bit to get it to the correct size. You just want to watch out for the back pockets so you don't accidentally sew into them. Next, we're going to be adding a lining, and this step is optional. If you don't want to add the lining, you can skip ahead. It is nice to add because it's going to cover up everything on the inside of the pants. So what what you want to do is place the hood panel on your material and cut around the outside edge. Remember to add a 1/4 inch seam allowance along the back curved edge and also a 1/2 inch on the front. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you can always make adjustments after you sew the two panels together. Once you have your panels cut, you can place the pants section off to the side, so you're left with the two lining panels. And all we need to do from here is place the right sides together, line up the outside edges, and we're going to stitch just the back curved edge. Again, I'm using a serger. If you don't have a serger, you can use a regular sewing machine. And after sewing, double check both sides, make sure both layers got stitched together. If everything is looking good, we can grab the pants section, place the lining inside the pants section with wrong sides together. Tuck the lining all the way inside so the center seam is lined up. Now there's a few different ways we can attach the lining. We can roll that front edge over and directly attach it to the front edge of the denim section, or we can utilize the waistband within the design and roll the lining over after the waistband. Either method works great. It really comes down to how you want it to look at the end. And I'm actually going to be placing mine after the waistband because I want that waistband in the design. I think it makes for a nice extra detail, but it really comes down to what you like. But either way, all you have to do is roll the edge of the lining over and line it up with the edge of the waistband. You will want to place a decent amount of pins so the layers don't shift around as you're stitching. And once you have it lined up and pinned down, take it to the sewing machine and stitch right along the edge of the waistband. I actually place my stitch right to the side of the waistband and not directly on it, because the waistband can be fairly thick, so going through all those layers can break needles. At this point in the project, if you like how it looks, you can keep it just like this and clean up the bottom edge. And if you do decide you want to do that, all you have to do is roll the bottom edges inward so the right sides are together and add a top stitch. But like always, we're going to take it another step further and transform this into a full balaclava. For the next steps, we're going to be cutting out the face and neck guard so we can place the hood assembly off to the side and grab one of the leg panels that we cut off in previous steps. We're going to start by cutting out the neck guard, and I first want to show you what it looks like after it's cut out. As you can see, it's taller up front, it dips in the center and tapers off towards the back. This is so it can wrap around your shoulders, cover the front of your neck, and it won't bunch up. But if you don't want to cut out the curve, you can still just make it a flat bottom edge, and if you do this, you can use the bottom hem of the pants. Either method works. I prefer the curve just because it sits a little bit easier and it's more comfortable. For this panel, the height really doesn't matter all that much. I would start at about a foot, and then you can cut the top edge off from there. My hood section is a little bit taller, so that's going to play into the overall height, so I didn't need to cut mine as tall. More than likely, the circumference of this panel will not match the circumference of your hood assembly, so what we're going to do is place it over the remaining leg material and cut out another section. We don't need the bottom portion, so we can place that off to the side. In this new piece, we'll be using it as a spacer to increase the circumference of the neck guard. So first we want to open up the two panels, so cut directly down one of the side seams, lay out the panel flat with right sides facing up, and the goal is to get the top edge of the neck guard to match the bottom edge of the hood assembly. All pants are going to be a little bit different, so you're going to want to measure the bottom edge of your hood assembly. With that measurement, we're going to use the spacing section and cut out a chunk of that so we can fit it into our neck guard. This will vary based on your measurements, but just make sure you cut the right height. Now that we have our spacer section, we're going to place the right side together, lining it up on one of the side edges, place a few pins, and then pull the opposite side of the neck guard over with right sides together. From here, we're going to stitch both seams at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And just like that, our new neck guard is complete. If you did cut yours a little bit tall, you can always go to the top edge and trim it down. Also, if the circumference is a little bit big, you can still take it in on that back spacer to reduce the size. You can also try this on, rest it on your shoulders, and retrim the curve to really line it up with your measurements. This can also be done at the end after we installed the hood assembly. But for the moment, the neck guard is complete, so we can place it off to the side and grab the second leg panel. We're going to be using this leg panel to make the face guard on the inside of the hood. So the first thing you want to do is measure how far you want it to go up on your face, and then we're going to double that measurement. And we're actually not going to be cutting it, we're going to be rolling it inwards to that measurement, so we have 2 layers. This will give us a nice clean edge at the top of the face guard. Now we can trim along the bottom to remove the remaining portion of the pants. Depending on the width of your leg panels, you may need to add another spacer just like we did with the neck guard. I want this face guard to be a little bit tighter, so I'm going to keep mine as is, but it's always best to just measure it up against your hood assembly. But like I said previously, if you do need to add the spacer because the circumferences don't line up, you're going to add it the same way we did with the neck guard. Trim along the side seam, add your spacer in, and sew it back together. And this is also why I like a little bit of stretch within the pants, so that way when we put this panel over our head, it stretches on nice and tight. If you don't have the stretch, then you might want to make this panel a little bit taller at the top. For the moment, we can place the face guard off to the side and move to the bottom section of the hood assembly. We're going to sew the front of the hood together, but before we do that, we want to trim up the waistband a little bit more so we can open up a section to sew. And I cut up from the bottom about 2 to 3 inches. Repeat this step for both sides, and then we're going to bring those sides together with right sides together. If you did leave the button on the waistband, you're going to want to flip those forward so you don't accidentally stitch through them. Once you have it ready to go, we're going to flip the wrong sides out and stitch directly on that front seam at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. After sewing, flip the right sides out and double check to make sure the bottom edges on both sides are lined up. And as you can see, this created a full loop on the bottom, and now with this loop, we can attach our neck guard and face guard. Starting with the face guard, we're gonna make sure the bottom edges are lined up, then we're gonna place that inside the hood, lining it up with the bottom edge of the hood assembly. Next, we're gonna grab the neck guard and do the same thing. Make sure the taller section is at the front center, and place the right sides together, wrapping it around the outside of the hood assembly. And again, if you did keep the button on the waistband, you do have to move that out of the way to get it to line up correctly. Once you have all the layers lined up along the bottom edge, place a ton of pins and stitch all the way around that outside edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And the Sherpa mixed with all these layers was very thick, so I couldn't use my serger, but if you do want to clean this edge up, you can use a zigzag stitch. Or if you have an industrial serger, you should be able to go through all those layers just fine. But anyways, moving on, we're going to fold the neck guard down and take a look at the whole assembly. I'm going to keep the bottom edge just like this, but you can actually take it one more step further and add a top stitch along that bottom edge if you would like. The second thing you can do is hem the bottom edge of the neck guard. It's super simple. All you have to do is roll the bottom edge over and add a stitch. But I'm actually not going to be adding this either because I like the look of the tattered edge at the bottom. Over time, it's going to continue to fray and give it a really nice distressed look. And I like just presenting all these different options because there's so many different directions you can take the finished product. And it's just a fun way to really customize it to your style. And moving on to the final step, that's adding your branding. I use leather strips added with double-sided rivets. I also cut a strip of 1-inch width webbing, fed it through the belt loops, and added leather strips at the bottom. I figured might as well utilize the belt loops if they're up front because it makes for a nice finished detail. And you can pretty much swap the webbing out for anything. You can use cord or even a belt. Also, the front button is still usable. When you're wearing it, you can actually button it up front and it kind of closes it a little bit more. Another thing I wanted to quickly go over is the neck guard. I made mine one layer, but if you wanted to make it extra warm, you could actually double it up and use a lining on the inside. I personally think it gets too bulky, so that's why I like a little bit looser at the bottom, but it's totally up to you and the style you're going for. But either way, I hope you had some fun with this project and learned a few new sewing techniques. And there you have it, your denim balaclava is complete. Hopefully yours turned out as good as mine did. And these will vary based on the type of denim you are using. If there's a little bit of stretch, it's probably gonna work better, unless you make it large enough so it fits over your head perfectly or add a zipper in the back. But having that little bit of stretch in the denim really helps out a ton. And like always, I love to see what you come up with, so tag me on Instagram at Properfit Clothing. And until then, I'm gonna keep the videos coming at you, so I'll see you next time.